opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. I know it's a holiday season and everybody wants to talk about, ho, 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 and stuff like that. But some bad things happened this last week. We can't just... wish them away. They're not going to just, crawl under a tree and die or anything like that. They're going to keep coming. And honestly, I truly believe that this last administration and the one before that, not the Trump one, but the other one, maybe before then too, was set up to have wide open borders to let in as much chaos as they could let in. Okay, along with the chaos that we already have homegrown, now we don't know what. We don't know if we have a dirty bomb out there. We don't know what's out there. We've got people getting acid attacks, acid being thrown in women's faces. The more we find out, I'm sure that we're going to find it's more and more Muslims that are doing it simply because they're showing themselves. They're showing their faces, their legs, their arms, hands, all kinds of things. I mean, even if you show your ankle in their countries, they'll stone you in the street. A woman, not a guy. Men can pretty much do whatever they want. But that's what's sad about this whole thing. And it's not just America that's under attack. Europe is under attack too. England, Australia, as we just found out. And that's some of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight is the blatant fact that they yell Allah Akbar when they do it. What is that supposed to mean to us? Oh, we're supposed to pretend like we don't hear that, and that's just their religious thing that they do? Well, no, it isn't. I have been a Christian my whole life, and I've not seen one person take a gun and start shooting people and saying, Jesus lives, or something like that. I haven't seen anything like that. Everything I've seen with Jesus, and with Jesus is mentioned in it, it's been, Jesus loves you, those type of things, not, to kill people, slit their throats, do whatever they can do to get away with things. It's always good. Love thy neighbor, who can you help, take a meal to, different things like that. So it's totally different. And I've had friends that have also read the Quran. And, women aren't seen very well in the light of the Quran. We're just there for procreation. Young boys are there for fun, a few things like that. And it's really sad to say that, but our country is founded on Christian values. It says in God we trust on our money. It doesn't say in Allah we trust. And they have their own country. So why are they coming here unless it's to try to, take it over, to push what they believe is the only true way and enforce it upon you. See, that's the difference between Christianity. Christianity offers it to you, but they don't force it down your throat. They say, you want this, join us, but they're not going to bash you in the street or, stone you to death because you don't want to be a Christian. It's your choice. And it says it right in the Bible. It's up to you to choose Christ to be in your heart, not the other way around. We're going to beat him into your heart because this is just no way. I'm not ever going to stop being a Christian to become a Muslim. That is never going to happen. And they know that a lot of us won't comply. in every country where you're a Jew, a Catholic, a Christian, a Jehovah's Witness, or anything other than what they think is the true religion, then you're an infidel, which means you have a target on you. If you're walking your dog down the street, they're going to shun you. As we've seen a few videos where people are attacked in the street. One guy was in this video I showed a couple weeks back, was stabbed 40 times because he was walking his dog. Because they see dogs as, like pork. You'll never eat pork. It just, they want to change everything about what we believe is freedom, right? Because they don't believe in that. They only believe in freedom if you follow their rules. And when they build a mosque, huge, ginormous mosque, what do? They still force everyone else around them to hear it, to have to listen to the call or whatever. And they get out in the streets and they put their blankets down and they do their prayers 5 times a day. But if you try to do that, I'd love to see any one of you college students that think that they will love you, go to their country and try to pray, as a Buddha or whatever in front of one of their mosques and see what happens. You probably will never come home. But I'm going to start off with this story. This was on my timeline. It was posted by James Woods, and he has been very, very vocal, unlike other actors, about what he feels is happening. Because remember, these are our opinions, and we have the right to have that in America. And I'm sorry for all of you that are being blocked off right now and not being able to watch this show simply because you're in a country that doesn't allow you to have freedom of religion. So I really feel bad for you. I really do. But that's why I live here. And that's why my father was in the military, the United States Air Force. So, I'm sorry for you. Maybe one day you'll be able to make changes in your own country and get back your rights. Australia handed over their guns. The people handed over their weapons. And that's one reason why we had the Second Amendment, which protects our right to own a weapon. Not to protect ourselves from those people across the ocean, but to protect us from our own government or anyone else that might threaten us in our homes. That's why we have a Second Amendment. It's not just for, we need a gun so we can kill animals to eat. Yeah, we'll use them for that too. Or put the deer heads on the wall, mount them up there with a beautiful rack of horns. But we also eat venison here too. I love meat. I'll eat meat. And I like squirrel and rabbit, and I'll shoot those too. I have the right to do that. And I have the right to have as many guns as I want, as long as I own them legally. And I don't break the law. I follow my laws because it's important that we have laws in man's world. But I'm going to start off with this. It says, anti-Semitism is quite possibly the most volatile issue in the world today. Hand in hand, Christianity is more silently a target as well. Nigerian slaughter, for example, has reached genocide levels. The world is reading the facts backward. In a sense, however, it's just about who's being killed. It's more about who's doing the killing. It is, of course, Islamic terrorism. The jihad to eradicate infidels and occupy their nations is in full swing. The only way to stop it is to state the facts out loud. And the facts are that Islam is a plague intent on ending any semblance of civilization as an enlightened world knows it. Okay, which means if you're not one of them, you are an infidel. And when they call jihad, it's on you. Unless you swear to change, which means you got to cover up your girls, hand your daughters over to these guys, and basically give up all your rights as an American citizen if we do that on our soil. And I'm not going to do that. Hell no, I ain't doing that. But this person, James Woods, shared Casey Babb's Post, and it says, if you aren't aware of what's going on right now, let me break it down for you. Jews worldwide are being hunted down and killed. It's only day 3 of Hanukkah, and already we've seen Jews murdered by a jihad father and son duo in Australia that's seriously wounded. I'm going to open it now. Where was I? Sorry. I should have had it open before I started reading. Okay. Seriously wounded many people, including my friend. And then he said, I'm thinking of you, my brother. Students at the Brown University were murdered in a class being taught by Rachel Friedberg, a Jewish professor who leads the school's studies in their Jewish studies program. It says a Jewish professor of nuclear physics at MIT was murdered in his home today. Orthodox Jews in New York were violently assaulted in the subway. Violent Palestinian protesters disrupted a peaceful Hanukkah celebration in Amsterdam. Dozens were arrested after police had physically surrounded families celebrating the holiday to protect them. A Jewish family in California had their home hit by gunfire because they had Hanukkah decorations up. One of the criminals shouted, "Free Palestine." Does that sound like a heartfelt religion to you? If the only thing you do is react with hate and anger, that is not a happy religion, a religion that's in peace and love. That isn't. It definitely isn't. But what I wanted to share is just the fact of all of this is happening to anyone that isn't Islamic. Okay. So, what else can you take from that? I mean, honestly, if you look at it, if they're attacking everyone except Islam, then that's not good. And if they can't live within the boundaries and rules of your country, then why are you allowing them there? And that's one thing I'm hoping that we're going to do something about that. Because if they can't follow the laws of our Constitution in our states, each one of our states has its own Constitution, and it's also our country. If they can't stay within those boundaries and follow those laws, then they need to leave. They don't need to be here. Because practicing their religion, having multiple wives, or chopping off a woman's clitoris when they're young girls, and then giving your young daughters to these men to marry when they're 9, is against the law in our country. And if you can't follow those laws, don't come here. We don't want you here, because we do not do those barbaric acts in this country. At least we're not going to just stand around while you're doing it. Let's say your daughter, you come here and your daughter wants to date or wants to not wear hijab to school, and you find out she took it off while she was at school, so you decide to beat her in the street. Well, guess what? We'll arrest you for that, because it's against the law. Because if she's here or born here, she's an American citizen. And she has the same rights as any other American. But if you walked over the border or flew here on a work visa or whatever else, well, guess what? You're not an American citizen. So we can ship you off. We have the right to do that. And if you don't treat Americans with respect. So, you guys don't realize what you're messing with. And I'm hoping that we're going to start seeing a huge uprising, saying that we demand justice, because we're not going to put up with this crap. And honestly, I don't expect Australian government to do squat either, because it's not their kids that died. It's so funny that when it happens to one of your own, you suddenly care. But nobody I know had this happen to him yet, and I pray that that never will. But I still care. I still am upset that this type of stuff is happening in our world, simply over a person not wanting to have the same faith as you have, or the same beliefs that you have. If you don't like them, don't talk to them. Don't go hang out with them. Don't look at them. Don't interact with them. Just leave, But if you do like them, or you think you can have civil discourse with them, sit down and talk about it. But if you already have your mind made up that no matter what they say, it's not going to make any difference, like me, because I am never going to be a Muslim. There's no reason for me to sit down and have a discussion with another person of that religion, because unless they're just going to tell me about things that are going on in the city, or they got a garden or whatever it is, or chickens, I'll sit and talk to them about that. But if they're going to try to talk to me and talk me into changing my religion, I say it up front. I'm a Christian, and I'm always going to be a Christian. So whatever you say, it's not going to sway me to become a Muslim, because that isn't going to happen. Just like I won't be able to sway a Muslim to become a Christian. At least, he'd have every right to do that, or she. But, to me, I'm not going to swap. I'm not swapping. I'm not changing. So I'm stuck where I'm at. But I just wanted to share that because it was an important thing that was posted. And I wanted you guys to see it. So here's the next one that I want to bring up. Sorry. Still not very good at why it takes so long to do these. All right, let's see. Number 20. They're always in different order too. Okay, here is James Woods himself speaking. He wanted to talk about jihad. And he says it's time to wake up. So I'm going to open this up and let you listen.
Me that one of the victims was a beautiful, lovely 19-year-old young woman who was the head of the Young Republican Club. I don't know if the motive of the killer was political, but I'm not surprised that the one who got murdered, that we all hear about, of the others who were also shot, was, a young conservative. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if she was targeted.
When I hear. It doesn't surprise me when I hear that. Look, I'm a Roman Catholic. I have a lot of Jewish friends, and I say to all of them, you've got to be careful. There is now a jihad against Jews in the world, and people are just upfront about it. They're just saying it. There's, this country over the past 4 years, and, I don't want to get into politics. I want to talk about Rob, but, there has been an invasion in this country that if you look at Europe, and see how far ahead the invasion is progressing there, that is going to end this country as we know it.
And it's not just Jews, though. Just like what he said at the beginning, conservatives. And usually conservatives are not Muslims. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. I know Wiccans. I have friends that are Wiccans, and they're conservative. They're nothing compared to a Muslim. So I haven't met another religion that's anything compared to that. To me, it's a really bad religion. I am glad that our country wasn't founded on it. But hear me share this next one. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is what happened. Now, the one he was just talking about, he was talking about the university shooting. Because I got two different things going on, because it was happening this was still on the news about both of these things. But this is what's really sad, is that the more I was looking into the shooting in Australia with the son and father that were open fire, just shooting. And they were doing where he had the bullet and he had to do that deal and shoot. He just kept doing it. And there's tons of videos that I'm not going to show those two, because it was really, really, it's really bad. I tried to find anything that didn't have all the gore and everything in it. But this is a police officer during the shooting. They have no weapons. They have no guns. I don't even know if most of them even have, what do you call those cattle prod things? The things that shoot out the electricity. I don't even think they have that. I mean, they're not allowed to defend themselves. It's pathetic how they fell so far from an island that started off with a bunch of prisoners, and they all become wimps. They're all wimps now. This is This is what you have. This is what you have defending you. They come and arrest you if you post something bad on the internet, but they hide when their people are being blown up with guns. It's really sad. And the other thing I wanted to share is what's sad about it the most is the fact that you had people just regular people that tried to stop the shooters. And someone has a couple pictures of it. This couple right here, Boris and Sophia Gurman, 69 and 61, have been identified as the couple who heroically tried to stop the terrorist as he exited his car before the massacre in Bondi Beach. These two right here. This is them trying to fight this guy. And they wrestled the gun away from him. But it says the couple attempted to prevent him from opening fire. After several minutes of struggle, the gunman overpowered them and regained his weapon and shot both of them. They sacrificed themselves to try to save total strangers that were out on the beach because they knew what this guy was about to do. And God bless these two. I know God's waiting for them with open arms. It's pitiful and sad. Breaks my heart. But I want to tell everybody to please pray for these people. I mean, we have bad things happening here, yeah. And especially depending on what state you're in, there's a lot of things happening. But would you do this? Would you wrestle a gunman to the ground to try to get his guns because you knew he was going to shoot someone? Or would you run and hide like that police officer and just dial 911? Hey, at least you dialed 911 and tried to do something. That's something. But if I was by myself, I'd probably have been shot too, because that's probably exactly what I would have tried to do if I thought I could get the gun from him or stop him somehow. But where I live, guess what? I'd be packing already. So the fact that they couldn't even shoot these guys is because none of them were allowed to have guns. That you take the guns away, the only ones who have guns are the bad guys, people. You follow the law, they do not. So if they came and they took all my guns and said I couldn't have one, even though I've never broken the law and I followed all the laws to get my guns, I took the classes, I did all these things, then who is it hurting? It's only going to hurt me and other people like me that want to be safe. I have never hurt anyone, and there's 300 and something million people in this country, and I don't know of that many people ever that's had a registered gun, took the classes, did all that stuff, and then went out and did stuff like this. These two people did. It's disgusting. And I don't remember how long ago it was. There was a guy and he had a young boy. I don't think it was his son, but it was his mentor. And he had him in a trunk or whatever, and they had a hole in the trunk, and he drove around while he shot people. It's sad. And I'd have to look it up. I can't remember their name, but if you're in the chat and you might know who I'm talking about, it would be great if you could share their name, because I can't remember, but I do remember it being really, really shocking to people that somebody would get a young guy and train him to kill people. That's it. And what's really sad is you see all the stuff that's going on in these other countries. They're used to people blowing themselves up walking down the street. I think I told about this before. I have a relative that was over in Afghanistan, and during all that stuff that was going on, and they're young. Okay, they're like teenagers, like 19-year-old soldiers, and the ones on each side of the doorway of their, they have like a tent city with fence that they just, put up themselves for the army or whatever. And here comes someone from the distance, and you can see him coming. And it looks like they're riding a bicycle, and they're kind of worried. They don't know whether this person's going to ride their bike up there and try to blow themselves up. So they have their guns ready, and then they've got kids running over there and stuff, little kids, because there's the the locals that live there too. And a lot of them give food and toys to these little kids that hang out outside their little, base area. And as the person gets closer and closer, they've got their weapons up and they'll tell him that he has to stop, or they have to stop not to come any closer. And the next thing you know, they accidentally blow themselves up. And, their legs come off and, they come out in body part pieces and they fall to the ground and the bike falls to the ground. And all these people come running over, not because they're worried about the person who just blew themselves up on accident, because I don't think they meant to blow up that early. They're fighting over the bicycle because they see this all the time. They see it all the time. And it's really sad. And I don't ever want to have that. I don't want anything like that to be something that you see every week. Well, hello. Thank you for stopping in. Let me see who's in here. Johnny. Thank you, Johnny, for coming in. I appreciate it very much. And then, hi, George. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. And I see baby girl. Hi. Thank you so much, sweetheart. And I see Jackie. She said something in here. And you got to remember, people, I can't, if you're here, because I know I have a lot more people in here. If you don't speak or anything, I can't. I won't know you're even in here. I mean, I know there's numbers up, but I don't see anybody speaking. And over on X, it says I have like 15 people over there, it looks like. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But this is a very sad thing. But this is something for you to pray over and ask God for help, for this type of stuff in our country, to help us make the right choices to protect our people, his people, from these evildoers, ones that want to kill all of us. They don't care if you're a kid. They don't care if you're a little kid walking a dog. They'll kill you and the dog because they hate dogs. And it's sad. But these people cared enough. They loved people and life enough to try to fight back. Now, they both died because of it, but the sacrifice will definitely be sad to say that. Their sacrifice won't be unnoticed by God, I can tell you that. But it's sad how many people don't even know about this. And this is just heartbreaking to me. But I'm thankful that we still have people like this in the world. So Boris and Sophia Grumman, you guys are heroes. They're heroes. And the fact that someone took a video, took some snapshots from it, was the reason why people found out who they were. And so I'm thankful that they did that they took pictures. And the other picture I showed a while ago with the police officers hiding behind cars and stuff while people are being shot. If it hadn't been for regular people that were running around trying to make heads or tails of what was going on, taking the pictures, no one would know what cowards they have as cops, because they have cops that don't have weapons. They have no way to fight back. What are they supposed to do? It's like you have to stand around while people are being blown away and wait for someone to show up with guns to protect the people. The only thing they could do is run. But I saw other videos of other people wrestling with, I think it was the father, because it looked like an older gentleman, which is it doesn't look like this guy. This guy looks like the pictures I saw of the younger guy, the son that was doing automatic. I mean, just 1, 2, 3, just shooting it off, shooting his weapon off with a bolt action rifle. It looked like the way he was, cocking it back and getting the bullet back in like that, one at a time like that. That's what it looked like to me. Now, I'm not a professional, I'm not a cop, and I'm not an FBI agent. I'm not CEI or whatever the other stuff's called. I'm not any of those. I'm just an American Air Force brat that cares, and I don't want to see this come to our country. I don't want to see people riding their bikes, blowing themselves up, and everybody just fighting over the bicycle. I don't want it to become everyday event. I don't think any of you do either. I want our kids to be able to go to school and people to be able to go to the park. an old couple like this to be able to walk down the street holding hands, picking flowers and looking at the beautiful scenery instead of worrying about whether they're going to die today. You know, it's a sad thing, but you know, I'm so thankful because they did something. They tried to do something, and they might end up killing less people simply because they stopped it and brought attention to them. And maybe someone called the cops, and I don't know how long it took for the cops to get there. But the thing is that, you know, they tried to do something. And I know a lot of people would try to do the best they could to help other people, because I still believe that there's a lot of good people in the world, in every state, in every nation. There's still good people that want to help others, even people they've never seen and they'll probably never talk to. But this was another post that came across my timeline that I thought was really good. Not good in that sense, but it says that it's another person named Lee Harris, and he posted this. This is what Labor MP Lola McEnvy, I guess how you say it, said following the terror attack on Bondi Beach. We should try to detoxify the way we think of people who aren't like us, because diversity is our strength. They're still defending these people when they just killed all these people in cold blood for no reason, simply because they were celebrating a holiday that they hate. That's the only reason. Is that a reason to murder people? No, not that I could see. It's disgusting that they would say something like that. Yeah, suicidal empathy. That is a really good. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to put that in my notes, because that is exactly what this is. And the people that use words like suicide, empathy, this word kind of stuff, by saying stuff like, oh, well, we need to calm down and understand they don't think the same way we do. Well, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I played a whistleblower from Minnesota that worked in a company's factory that produces food. And they it's a packing place where they package food and stuff and distribute it through grocery stores and stuff. And they were talking about all the Somalis that were there, and they were working there pretty much, like pennies on the dollar compared to what an American would accept, because they get subsidies. They get a place to live and food and all that stuff paid for by us, medical paid by the taxpayers. And so that whatever amount of money they can make is like icing on the cake, even if it's, the company should lose their business since they're hiring people for pennies on the dollar so they don't have to pay Americans, right? But the fact that they were crapping and urinating all over the facility and washing their genitals and stuff in the sinks, this kind of stuff. And we say, oh, well, they're not from here, so we have to learn to understand why they do those things, even though the company said that they put up signs here and there that says, please don't use the sinks to wash your genitals, use the restroom if you have to go to the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. But they still did it anyways. But they were still packaging food, mailing it out, sending it out in trucks for you and I to buy, not knowing what parts or hands were touching any of the food. It's disgusting. And they should all be arrested for that. But the fact that they're telling people that this is okay because these people are different and we're more likely to have more diversity because we accept these people, bullshit. These are criminals. These are murderers. And they're doing it and using their religion as an excuse to kill. That's how I see it. That's my opinion, but that's how I see it. So I'd like to see if anybody in the chat has a different opinion, because I think it's bullshit. Do you guys think that, this adds diversity to the country when you bring people in that have these different points of view and they don't want to assimilate? They don't want to learn the language. They don't want to respect your flag. They say they're coming here because they want a better choice for their future, but yet they don't want to take the country that they came to and accept it as a new home. Instead, they take this country and turn it into what they left. Okay. That isn't what I want. I don't want my country turned into anything but freedom, the country I grew up in. That's what I want. So I don't care what these people say they want. I don't agree with them. But I brought that up because I wanted you guys to see this is all about these two things that are going on. So hopefully you guys will, if it's too much for you, you don't have to watch it. I know it's terrible, but this was something I loved. It came across my timeline, and I wanted to play it for you. This is this person's point of view. American Papa Bear found this video, and he wanted to share it on X. It says, this is how you deal with the Islamic call to prayer. Remember I was telling you earlier that they build these ginormous mosques. I mean, huge. And even though they're huge, guess what? The women still have to go have their own area where they're allowed to go in, because they're not even allowed to be where the men are at during the religious stuff. Women are like nothing. You guys they're just little plebes. They just, because, they're a dime a dozen. They get them when they're 9, and, by the time they're 20, they're like old news. So they just treat them like dirt, basically, unless they have sons. Now, if you have a lot of sons, then they'll give you a little bit more, food eat or whatever, apparently, or something. But I definitely will never, ever wear a hijab or cover myself and stuff like that. I won't do it. I'm not ashamed of who I am. So it's terrible. And it's shameful that they cover the women from head to toe because they are animals. They can't look at a woman's wrist and not think about wanting to rape her. It's disgusting. They're disgusting. They disgust me. And guess what? That's my point of view. So that's how I look at it. But this video shows a highly obnoxious Muslim call to prayer being blasted over loudspeakers, only to be drowned out by some bagpipes. So I'm going to play this for you. I wish we had young people that were willing to do this stuff in every city that they have a mosque in. Just think about what would happen if you got a bunch of people together, the marching bands or whatever they want, and to play Christmas songs every time, or hymns, Christian hymns, every single time that they do the call to worship themselves. They're forcing it on you. Why shouldn't you be able to drown it out by some other music that you enjoy? So here we go. I'm going to play this for you. It's great. Ready? Love it. It's awesome. I wish we could do that on every single mosque that does that and forces their music upon us. That we would be able to play whatever music we want and then have to listen to it. I love it. Awesome. I mean, that was a genius idea for them to do. I just like that a lot. I just wanted to share that because, man, that makes me proud of these people. No, it's terrible of me. I'm such a biatch sometimes. I can't help it. But I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I am the daughter my father raised to not disrespect our country and the people here. You have a right to you buy property and you have a home. You have the right to be able to sit on your front porch and drink coffee and peace and quiet. And if they're going to do that, you have the right to do something too, right? It's just music. That's what they're saying. So fight fire with fire, like my mother would always say. I just love that one. I had to share it with you. So I'm going to close that out, and then I'm going to open this next thing. Yeah, I got a few other ones. let's see. I think this is the one. Oh, okay, yeah. Amy Meck posted this and it says, breaking Muslim Brotherhood bombshell in Texas. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in Texas. If you live in Texas, just look into how many mosques you guys have now in your state. And remember, what they do is they'll come in and then have multiple women having babies for one man, and they just outnumber you. They end up running for city council and school boards and all that thing, and they start getting their time for prayer and all their things just start working out for them, and they just take over. So I don't know what to tell you. Next thing you know, you won't have any pork or bacon being sold in any of your grocery stores, and you won't be able to have any dogs. So I hope you guys enjoy it, because you think it's going to be not. Oh, it's never going to happen in Texas. That's what I hear all the time. It's never going to happen in Texas. But guess what? It's already happening. It's happening right under your noses, and you don't even realize it because you're too busy going to work, paying your bills, and then trying to relax on the weekend. Well, guess what? All they do is this. This is all they do. They live to breed and get rid of the infidels, which is you. So I hope you guys are thinking about it. But yeah, this right here is talking about the different steps that they started doing to get their jihad network in place. It says in 1988, the year the jihad network went public on U.S. soil. Back in 1988, long before most Americans had heard of the name Osama bin Laden. Yeah. They were already going to town. It says filming and promoting jihad recruitment and fundraising videos inside the United States. They were going to mosque through the Gizla Islamic video operation. Oh, and that's another thing. Guess what their number one recruiting area is in the United States? Prisons. They go to prisons and recruit people. And once they get them to convert, as soon as they get out, they accept them with open arms, because guess what? They're all men. They just want more men, army men, like when you watch all the people coming over the border, did they look like there was tons and tons and tons of mommies and babies? No, it was mostly all men, military age men. If you paid enough attention to the actual videos instead of listening to what some of the administration said. Oh, it's all women and children. Well, it's not. They fibbed. I like to watch videos. I used to do a couple of live streams and just show people coming over the border. So, I don't get paid to do any of this stuff, but I sure think it's important that, if you're paying attention and you see what's going on, maybe you can do something in your own community, because the only way we're going to win is by taking back our cities and our towns and our states. And once we have that, guess what? The federal government can't run all of you, because your state has a constitution, your own constitution. So if your constitution says, like, I guess now it's going to be different because Trump did something with marijuana or something. I missed it today. I didn't get to see it, so I'm going to find out what that is. But before, like Colorado, you can smoke a joint. You can be standing out and smoking a joint, and they can't come in. The federal government wouldn't be able to come in and arrest you because of it, even though it was an illegal act. To the federal government, it isn't in the state. So the state's constitution overrides the federal constitution when it comes to certain things like that. That's why it's important that we had such geniuses that came here and decided to start this country. We're the youngest country, but we're the freest. We're the only free country left, unless we lose it. Are we going to lose it? I don't know. I hope not. I'm going to fight until I have nothing left to fight with, but I'm not giving up. But this right here says U.S. mosques used as jihad recruitment hubs. Yeah, it's horrible. They recruit left and right. I see lots of these videos, and what's really sad is they're they do these videos on TikTok and on Instagram and on Snapchat, and they talk about, the hate they have for everyone. You get some man, some guy that could never get a date because either he was a dumbass or he treated women like shit, and women turned him down, or they wouldn't willingly want to go out with him. So now that he's a Muslim, especially if he goes to another country, he can get all the women he wants. Because, a woman over there, if she gets raped, she has to have 5 people men basically say, yeah, she was raped, to get justice. If she doesn't, she gets stoned in the street because she's a slut. It's pathetic. That's why they cut women's genitals up, so that the women won't want to go have sex with anyone else because they won't get enjoyment out of it. It's perverted and sick. They live in the Stone Ages. That's how it looks to me. And they act like it too. They have I don't know. They just act like animals from everything that I can see. I'm sorry. This is my Janet's rant day, but I can't help it. I'm so upset about everything that's happened. And it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening because they've had years to come here and set up their camps, to sneak in whatever it is they're going to sneak in, to try to take out the power grid or whatever their plans are. I have no idea. I mean, who would have thought that all in one day they would get all those planes and start crashing them into places? And a few of them didn't work because people on the plane fought back because they were on the phone, and other people said, yeah, someone hit the World Trade Center. Another one hit another trade center. And that's when they said, oh, well, if we don't do this, they're going to use us to kill others. So it's sad. It's really sad that we're going through this and we haven't learned anything from it. We haven't fixed anything. We haven't kept this kind of stuff from happening because we haven't made laws to stop them from being able to do these things. And when they do it, we just go, oh, don't do that. That's not nice. They know it's not nice, but guess what? They don't give a shit. So I just wanted to tell you about that. Yeah, this Texas, you guys need to... see if you read all these different steps. This is how they come in and just wipe out a whole country. I mean, wasn't it? I think it was. I'm trying to remember the name of the country that they've taken over many countries with radical jihad. So I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I'm just so depressed, so depressed about it. Good. I hope you don't want women like me. I'm glad. So leave. Go to your own country. Don't come here. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't ever come here. See you later. Sayonara. Got rid of that guy. Okay. Sorry, I wasn't able to read the chat. And I thought Jackie would take care of it, but I guess she had to get a phone call or something. I don't know. But it's up to us, people. We're it. We are all that's left here to defend our country from this type of stuff. And if we don't, who's going to? We have the most to lose. So let's see. The only solution. I think it's this one. Okay, here's another one I found. James Woods posted. Now, this is the one that you saw, the old couple who had already killed the old couple before he started opening fire on these people. The only solution is the Polish solution. Bar every single one of these savages from our nation. These parasites will shred the fabric of our culture. Even Hitler couldn't defeat England, but these savages destroyed it and every other place they infest. And that's exactly true. I was sent a video, I think it was like 2 years ago, after a space. We did a space on X. I don't know if you guys know what that is. And we were talking about it. It was a bunch of English friends of mine, because we used to do spaces all the time at night. And it was, I miss all of them so much, talking to all of them. But one of them sent me a video and they said, guess where this is? And all I saw was a sea of men running around. And I said, I just said Saudi Arabia. I didn't know what's in. They said, no, this is London. It didn't look like London to me. The people didn't. It didn't even look like, I didn't really look at the buildings or anything. I was just looking at all the people walking up and down the road. And it was in downtown London. And look, New York has already decided that, they want to be run by Sharia law, apparently, even though I think it's still against the law. I don't think that he'd be able to do that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's kind of spooky to think about after 9/11 in New York, and they hire a Muslim to run their country or their city, which is huge. People don't realize, but the city of New York has more people in it than the whole state of Arkansas. It's where I live. So it's scary. There's more people in one city than there are in certain whole states. The whole state of Arkansas doesn't have as many people as the city of New York. That's a lot of people to be in charge of. And man, a lot of the people that didn't vote for him, you guys are going to really have fun, aren't you? I hope you guys enjoy what you got, what you asked for, because you're going to get it. But here you go. I can't believe they're standing around. It's just shocking to me. Everyone isn't just laying down on the ground.
Fireworks.
There he is. See how fast he's shooting that gun off? And look at all them bullets he's got on the back of his belt. They came here for a reason, for a purpose. And while this was happening, right down there on the ground, down here, is where those cops had mine cars. Just think about it. All the people that took these videos, if they had guns, they've been able to defend themselves. But none of them had guns. It's disgusting. It's sad.
Hey, stay there.
It's disgusting and sad that these two people were able to pull this off in a place where they couldn't defend themselves. It's totally different here. Them trying to pull something like this off without being shot at, it's going to be really hard for them to do that in our country, because a lot of people here carry. We're allowed to carry our weapons on us, and we're prepared. And most of us have had guns since we were kids, so we know how to use our guns, and we know how to defend ourselves. It's sad because we have a lot of people that don't, because they don't believe in it, which is, they're right. But I hope that those people that don't believe in guns have someone around them when something like this does happen, so that someone else can try to protect you from that. And if you are in this situation, get out of there, run. Don't stand around and watch. Run as far as you can, and then call the police. That's what you need to do. That's how you save yourself, because if you save yourself, you're able to save others by calling 911. And we need that. We need to be ready for that, because I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm telling you right now, we got some real sick assholes that came over the border. And at some time, they may not have came over the border just in the last year or whatever, or a couple years. It may have been 15 years ago. Could have been under the Clintons. They bust in and flew in lots of people from all over the place. So, and that's all they've been doing. Because what? Let's see. I don't know about all the businesses, but the businesses that hire people for dirt cheap money, for trucking, to work in their factories, and they can pay 3 employees the price that they paid 1 American, they're making bank. And I hope to God that this administration just takes every single one of these people to court or whatever they need to do and make them pay restitution somehow. I don't know. I just don't know what the laws are. So I don't really understand how it works, but they should be shut down. They knowingly hired illegals and wanted to make more money. So they have 3 people doing one person's job, but money wise, even though they're disgusting and dirty and nasty. I don't know. To me, it's disgusting. All of it. I can't believe that people are attacking ICE agents and stuff so that they could help these people, hurt other people. You know, killers and child molesters and rapists and gang members and stuff. You know, I just don't get it. It's terrible. But hopefully they'll get rid of some of these people. I hope. It's terrible. It just makes me so angry how much these people have gotten away with. But hold on, I'm trying to bring these up. Here's one I wanted to share. That was really good. This is some more information on the Brown University incident. I'm going to play this for you. So let me make sure it's turned up and everything.
Deadly shooting at Brown University is intensifying as police share new details about the person of interest detained. 2 students were killed, 9 others were wounded in the attack. Jack Jupin, Jupin International CEO and founder and retired FBI supervisory special agent of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, joins me now. Jack, welcome.
Thank you.
I was struck by something FBI Director Kash Patel
in this
wrote
instance
on
here,
X
unfortunately, we have another instance in which we're talking about another active shooter. As you previously shown, I showed about 10 seconds of video there. And, the evidence going forward will unveil itself in the coming days.
Jack, I was struck by something Kash Patel, the FBI director, wrote on X a short time ago. He's saying we activated the FBI's cellular analysis survey team to provide critical geolocation capabilities. As a result, the FBI, U.S. Marshals, and Coventry, Rhode Island police were able to go to the hotel to detain that person of interest. What about the technology and the cooperation between the feds, state, and local authorities?
Yeah, over the last 10, 15, 20 years, it's gotten so much better with the cooperation amongst all agencies, as you just mentioned, local, state, and federal. We cannot do this job alone. Nobody can do this job alone. The U.S. Marshals have fantastic technology like we do now in tracking phones or identifying the location of that phone and where it was when. It led them to the hotel room as well. Once upon the hotel room, now they're able to identify where he lives. Obviously, when you check into a hotel, you give a driver's license, you give a credit card. There's identifying information. So search warrants are being prepared as we speak, if not already being conducted. And they're going to do the full investigation and as well look for more video evidence that might be available through the school or surrounding buildings or other places such as that.
Jack, once they have permission to go through his, home perhaps, or his electronic devices, what do you expect will happen? Going through his call log, going through his text messages, his emails, to anything to tie him to Brown University and the attack yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, from what you're looking at right now, you would seem to think there's a tie. He not only went to Brown University, he went to an engineering building. So that would tell me he has some type of tie. But as you had mentioned, when they started looking at emails, text messages, phone calls, and the computer, they're looking for co-conspirators or anybody who may have given assistance to this individual to commit these acts, and where he got the ammunition from and the weapon.
Jack Jupin, thank you so much for your time and your analysis today, sir.
Yeah, it's good. That was really good. The thing is that they're going to keep doing this stuff. They're going to just keep doing it and keep doing it if nobody does anything to stop them, right? So we all need to do what we can to try to stop them from, going to the next thing or whatever they're going to do. But I wanted to play, I think it was this one. Let me open it, see if you can see it. Okay, hold on. I got to push pause. Yeah, this is another one. This is for the Brown University thing. And this was posted by Laura Loomer. And she was talking about how the mass shooter yelled Allah Akbar before opening fire on the campus, according to sources. And I've been following Laura for quite a while. And most of everything she does ends up being reliable. So, it's better than CNN or some of the other, The View. They're never right. So, I'd rather listen to somebody who's mostly right than someone who's never right. So, it says, how come the media is suppressing eyewitness testimony about how the shooter at Brown University allegedly shouted Allah Akbar before he opened fire on campus the night before the first night of Hanukkah? Okay. See, I don't know. This just makes me ill. It just makes me sick. Thanksgiving, they send somebody goes miles and miles and miles and miles away from their home just so they can shoot at National Guard members and killed one of them. And they happen to be of the same religion. If you look at it, if you back up and you just take the facts and look at the facts and that's it, how can you deny it? When you got all these people targeted and the ones that are killing are not of the same religion as the ones that are doing the killing. But the ones who are doing the killing are all of the same religion. So to me, that tells me if they come walking up and, or I see them from a distance, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at them. I don't remember who it was, but after 9/11 was one of the reporters made this comment about something and he got in trouble for it. He got reprimanded. Something about how he gets nervous when he sees someone with a turban on their head. He starts looking around, trying to get worried. But hey, why? What's wrong with that? If somebody attacks somebody in their home or whatever, breaks in and beats you up and everything, and they're covered with tattoos, well, psychologically, you're going to look at other people that look like a gang member or something. You're going to be fearful. It's just a natural thing. Like a woman or a young girl that's assaulted, she's going to look at that person's gender and be fearful of people that she doesn't know of that gender. That doesn't mean that she's racist or anything. It has nothing to do with it. It's a natural thing that happens to you to keep you from putting your finger in the fire and put your hand in the fire over and over again, because I don't learn anything. It's ridiculous. But people call me racist, call me Nazi, I get called all kinds of stuff. But guess what? I don't care. I don't give a crap. They can call me whatever they want. It's just a word. Doesn't hurt me at all. The thing is that I care about what I'm leaving behind when I'm not going to be here. I know I'm getting older. We all get old. We're all going to die. We might get hit by a bus or struck by lightning. I might get hit by a tornado. We have those every year where I live. So, God's the only one that knows when my day is coming. But until then, I'm going to do the best I can to try to help people hear about things that they probably never would have heard of if I hadn't seen it or shared it with them. And if I can help one person a week, that's great, to me. And I'm not getting paid. I don't have an agent. I don't have people finding me all this information or whatever. I do it, because I read a lot. I go to spaces. I watch documentaries. I do all kinds of stuff while I'm sewing or crocheting or whatever. I want to know what's going on around me. I want to be as prepared as I possibly can. Just like when you live somewhere that floods a lot, or if you live somewhere that has earthquakes, or if you live somewhere like me, and I used to live right on the coast had hurricanes. So I went from hurricanes to Tornado Alley. But the thing is, you got to be prepared that you might go a week without power or longer if the power lines get taken out and stuff. So do you got a camping stove? Do you have ways of being able to make food for yourself and things like that? It's called being prepared for something. And they used to teach this in school, like in California, that what you should do if there's an earthquake. You're supposed to get under your desk so that in case the roof caves, the desk will help keep you from, and put your hands over your head, that kind of thing. There's all kinds of rules depending on where you live. And we used to go to school to learn how to live once you're 18 and you move out of your parents' home. How do you, can you get a job? Can you read and write? Can you type? Can you send emails? Can you cook? Can you make clothes? I mean, you learn skills so that you can do things for yourself. But guess what? Even if you're not a cook, when you move to your own place, you got to feed yourself. You got to cook for yourself. You have to be able to do your laundry. You have to be able to wash your dishes. You have to be able to balance your checkbook. You got to be able to do these things to survive. And we don't seem to be teaching the next generation to be ready to go out on their own, take care of themselves. It's kind of, sad if you think about it. Pathetic is what it is. When you have other countries that kids are, by the time they're 15, they could pretty much go to college here, maybe even younger. And then we got people, graduating here with the skill of basket weaving, whatever, so I'm just making that up. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying you'd go to your counselor at school, or they'd have different people at school and you could talk to them about what you want to do when you go to college. You're trying to prepare for what you want to do. Your parents would say stuff like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a secretary, whatever, whatever it is, a bank teller, I don't know. I'm just thinking of stuff. And look at me. I graduated and I went to and worked in the Navy bar as a waitress. So, wow, woohoo, look at me. But then I took classes to become a florist. So I learned how to make lots of pretty arrangements and things like that, because I realized all I wanted to do is get out of the house. And then once I'm out, I realized, dang, man, you got to work a lot to make enough money to be able to stay from not having to go back home again. But my parents tried to raise us to understand that we got to take care of ourselves. I knew how to change a tire on a car, change my oil, things like that. Because what if you're driving out in the middle of nowhere and you get a flat? You're going to just stand out there and wait for someone to come and change your tire? Even men. That's one thing that's really sad. There's a lot of men that say, I better call someone to come fix my tire, because they don't know how to change a tire. Nobody should be able to drive a car if you can't change your own tire. Now, unless you're physically unable, like let's say you're too old, you can't turn the thing tight enough, to unloosen it, or you're missing a limb or something like that, but you can still drive, because I've had friends that were able to drive with missing limbs, but it's going to be kind of hard to change the tire. So it just depends on your situation. But if you're healthy and you have 2 arms and 2 legs, you should know how to change your tire on your car if your car gets a flat out in the middle of nowhere. Because, being able to change your tire could save your life. You never know. So my dad wouldn't let none of us girls. He had 5 daughters, and he was a jungle survival instructor in the Air Force. And he was like, you're going to know how to change a tire before you get your driver's license. So you drive in one of my cars. So we all know how to do that. But, being prepared and ready for whatever situation you might have isn't stupid. And that's not being paranoid either, because every so often we have floods and some other things. We have people from one state go to another one to help because they've been trained or whatever the reason is, because we have people in our country that want to help other people. because we care about people, because it could be you, you know, and it's nice to know that we still have people that want to do that in this country. But I just wanted to share that because I thought that was important about what he was talking about. And now this next thing I thought it's still all to do with the same, you know, the same two shootings and stuff. But to me, it all boils down to their religion, that they're, like I'm saying, that they use their religion to be able to get away with murder. And I think it's horrible. But here we go.
Fox News alert, it's been almost 5 days since a gunman shot up one of the most prestigious universities in the world and got away with it. No one knows where the shooter is, who he is, or what he looks like. After days of no answers and no leads, Brown students are angry.
The general mood I've been feeling is like getting the air knocked out of you. It's pretty sad on campus. We have been concerned and confused and hoping that there's more progress in the case. There's definitely uneasiness with the gunman not being in custody.
There's uneasiness because we're not getting any answers from the people in charge. Their press conferences are an embarrassment. The police chief doesn't even know who was in the room during the shooting.
Can you now say how many kids were in that classroom, and did the gunman come in from the back so these people never knew it was coming, or did he come in front with full view of everybody?
And that's all part of the interviews, and actually we're cooperating with Brown to get the roster. That was a study hall, so we don't have the number. We're still getting information as far as who was there.
It's been 5 days, and you don't have a list of witnesses. You don't even know how many witnesses there are. And the witnesses that you have talked to, they told you the gunman shouted something, but you don't know what that is. One eyewitness said there was around 20 ducking behind the table. You can't track down 20 of your own students. Well, the New York Times says there's 60 eyewitnesses. How do they know that? And the chief doesn't. The local media has had it.
Had it been a final exam, we'd have a roster. We'd handed it over. We know exactly who was in the room because everybody shows up for a final. But for a study session, it's elective.
We're finishing the answer. Ronaldo.
It's elective. It's elective to turn out for a study session. So we don't know exactly what fraction of the overall roster turned out for a voluntary review session.
Okay. Remember the black student witness who told ABC that the shooter had a long gun that was really big? Now they're saying the gun might have been small.
You don't think there's multiple weapons?
No, just that individual.
I just want to jump in here too, because you know, you mentioned a long gun. We are not in a position to say, unless the chief, you want to swear it, whether this was a long gun or not.
And get this, now we're learning Brown University had more than 800 surveillance cameras. They had 1,200, and not a single camera got a shot of the shooter entering or exiting the building. Is it dumb luck that he found the one blind spot on campus? Or is he a student who knows the lay of the land? Or did he just case the place for hours and no one noticed?
It's believed, based on what we know, that the gunman, primary person of interest, the suspect, came out of that entrance or exit and started walking this way and passing this dumpster. If you just look around this parking lot to show everybody, there are no cameras that we can see out here, right outside of the Barris and Hawley building. You can see there are no cameras that we see visible to the eye. So that is something that has been a big sticking point in this investigation.
Why wouldn't you put cameras on the perimeter of campus so you can see who's coming on the campus and who's coming off? That's security 101. Here we have surveillance video that caught the shooter right after the attack, walking by a cop car a block away from the building at 4:06 Saturday afternoon. This could be a huge break. That means we have dash cam footage of the shooter leaving the scene of the crime, right? No. The police chief hasn't checked.
In the video released yesterday, it appears that the person of interest is going by a police cruiser that has its lights on. Does that mean that the dash cam in that cruiser was on and activated, and have police been able to recover anything useful from that video?
So that was a brown police cruiser, and I'm not sure if they have body cameras in their cruisers.
You're not sure if Brown's police cruisers have dash cams? You haven't asked them that yet? And you're standing right next to the Brown University campus police chief. Does he know? More on that guy later. And this just into Fox. We're told Brown's police cruisers do not have dash cams. So a multi-billion-dollar university with an engineering department researching AI can't put a camera on the squad car. Some of the poorest counties in America have dash cams on patrol cars, but not one in the richest school in the country almost. Apparently, this shooter just disappeared.
Another video that they obtained later subsequently places him right here behind this pole. And this is where he crosses the street. Once he crosses this street here, hits that corner and goes up that way, the police are essentially at the mercy of residential cameras in order to obtain video. This is a wealthy neighborhood. A lot of the houses have walls. They're well set back. They don't have Ring cameras, and if they do, they're internal.
No one knows where the guy went. Cops are asking for Tesla owners to turn over their videos. Hopefully they haven't all been firebombed. Later on in today's press conference, the chief just casually drops this bombshell. Listen.
We have seized and found physical evidence.
And does that include a gun magazine?
We have found physical evidence.
Can you say where?
I'm not going to confirm.
What's the evidence? Does the chief even know? My goodness. Providence police just happened to also be looking for a second person they say was in the proximity of the shooter. Is it a man? Is it a woman? Nobody knows.
Are we sure it's a man? I know it was brought up in the question before that it could be a man, but are we 100% sure it's a man, or could it be a woman as well?
It's a person that we would like to at least speak with.
Oh, okay. Maybe the person's trans.
Yeah, they don't know what gender.
Now, this could be
is.
just a false lead. There's a chance this person has nothing to do with this. Or he could be a getaway driver. Or could have been a spotter. Could have transferred the weapon. We don't know. We still don't know where the gun is or how the shooter escaped. Car, bike, bus, electric scooter. Even CNN's like, what the hell, Smiley?
How on earth does it happen that somebody can walk into a prestigious university like Brown or any school that has thousands of students and faculty and support staff, shoot at least 11 people, and then apparently walk out and disappear?
I don't think it matters that it's a prestigious university. We've all seen horrific acts of gun violence in public schools.
You know Brown's in trouble when Trump and Jake are on the same side. Here's the president. Why did Brown University have so few security cameras? There can be no excuse for that. In the modern age, it just doesn't get worse. It's gotten so bad that people think Brown is in on a cover-up.
Is the Brown University withholding anything, for the record?
For the record, we are cooperating 100% with law enforcement. We are turning over everything we have to assist in this investigation.
Reporters think Brown's covering up a school shooting. The university told us they have footage from inside the building, but they won't release it. They say it doesn't show the shooter. So there's camera footage that the university is refusing to release. At one point, a reporter asked, why don't you just release it so that the public can help you solve this? That's when the attorney general snapped. Watch.
Would you like all of it?
Why not?
Well, because here's why. Because it doesn't tell us anything about who committed this crime yet. If we get a better image of who committed this crime, you'll have it. There is no effort to preclude the public, online investigators in the press, from getting to the result faster than we can. If you can identify this person faster than we can, have at it.
Has there ever been a mass shooting in modern America where there's not a single image of the crime scene? We don't even know what the auditorium looks like, not even a rendering. We haven't seen shell casings, bullet holes. They don't even know if the shooter came in the front or the back. And now they're telling Fox, police don't even know how long the shooter was in the room. They don't even tell us how long it took for police to respond to the scene. Apparently, there's anywhere between 20 to 60 eyewitnesses, and no one took any video. Did anybody try to tackle the gunman? The new excuse for why they didn't have a camera by the building was because the building was old. You know where they do have a camera? Outside the university president's house. And that building is over 100 years old. And they have state-of-the-art security cameras. But this building, facing the streets of Providence, doesn't have a camera. And the door didn't need a swipe card. And campus security didn't have a guard there.
Was there a security guard ever posted at the engineering building entrance? If so, were they there that day? And what did they do? And if not, why not?
So maybe I'll ask our chief of police to speak to that.
On that day, we did not have and do not have a security asset posted inside the building.
Is that atypical of a Saturday or in that particular building? How do you determine where security is posted, and is that under the purview of Brown Police?
That is typical for that academic space.
So that right there is the mysterious campus safety chief, Rodney Chapman. Funny, we haven't really heard from him. Where's he been? Well, we just discovered the Brown University police chief isn't really a big fan of policing. He once said this: communities don't want policing done to them. How this guy came to Brown is a crazy story. He was the head of campus security at the University of Utah. And right after he was hired there, he was immediately suspended because he didn't have the proper credentials. Utah then told him, we're going to fire you or you're going to have to resign. What's it going to be? So Rodney resigned and Brown said, we'll take you. And right before this shooting, Brown's police union issued a vote of no confidence in Chief Rodney. The chief's own men accused Rodney of endangering officers and creating a toxic workplace culture. Rodney should know the campus better than anyone, but all week he's been hiding under his desk. He's obviously completely unqualified. Brown's the most liberal Ivy League school, and they take DEI more seriously than safety. The school's been under intense pressure from the Palestinian students. The president, who was a no-show at today's presser, has been heckled for years by Muslim underclassmen. She always bends the knee, but they heckle her anyway. Over the summer, radical left human rights groups demanded Brown disable their security cameras so Palestinian activists could raise hell under the radar. Did they cave? We asked. No response. It's not just Brown. The whole city is a DEI mess. You know who else was at the press conference? The Providence City Council Chief of Staff is a genderless bisexual who was arrested for protesting at Trump Tower this year. Meanwhile, the police chief could be compromised. Turns out the chief's nephew was sentenced to 22 years in federal prison for running one of the largest fentanyl rings in Rhode Island. And Mayor Smiley promoted him to chief knowing his family was trafficking. Why would Smiley do that? Well, because Smiley and the chief speak the same language. The chief's main goal is to diversify the department. It's too white. He says when an officer shows up to a call on a Colombian block party, say, Colombians are loud. They know how to party. And a Colombian officer would be more understanding, while a white officer would just start slapping cuffs on everyone at the fiesta. This is the guy leading the investigation into one of the biggest unsolved mass shootings in American history. 11 people shot, 2 dead. One was like the most prominent Republican on campus. And we don't have any answers or videos or pictures. We don't know what he shouted, if he had an accomplice, the size of his gun, the number of witnesses, where he is, how he got out. And the people trying to ask questions are getting told, shut up, by the Rhode Island senator.
For people who have no idea what they're talking about to offer their stupid and ill-informed views about what happened all over the internet. So I would please, just from a law enforcement perspective, ask anyone who sees this to just shut up.
They're asking for the public's help, but they're telling us to shut up. They arrested the wrong guy, got no video. and didn't even know if the brown cop cars had dash cams. They're in no position to lecture anybody. This is completely unacceptable, the whole thing.
Terrible.
And joining us now with some
Sorry
new
about
information
that.
is someone who
The
has
thing is, it's so pitiful, is that the incompetence of all of them, and not one of them, not one person involved in any of this stuff supposedly trying to figure it out was their loved one injured. See, isn't it weird how that always seems to happen, that these people that are in charge of keeping our kids safe on campus, none of their kids are ever involved in any of the stuff that happens on there because they do such a crappy job at doing it. I honestly can't believe anybody would ever spend money and send their kids to any of these colleges. Go to a technical school. Be a lot better off and safer, especially if it's in a state where that allows you to have a weapon, you know, on your person or whatever, because some of these places, just like you were saying, DEI hires and stuff, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. I don't see how they ever expect to accomplish anything long term when you can't do anything. You know, you have to stand around and go because you don't know shit. If I don't know shit, guess what? I want to ask people. I want to ask questions. Hey, how do you fix this? What do you do with that? How come that's going on over there? You know, yes, lots of questions. Oh, I feel bad for the people that died and they got shot. You know, had to go to the hospital. And now this guy, who knows? He's probably ready to go shoot up another school. He could go back to this campus in a couple days after they're done and start all over, and it'd be the same jumbled mess, and they wouldn't even know it was the same person because that's how stupid all these people are. And I really don't think it's because they're trying to cover it up. I really believe that these people are really that dense. They have no clue. And that's what they want the rest of us to be like. Just a bunch of dunces walking around like, no, I don't know shit. I can't help. I don't know what to do. That's what they act like. And they're putting people at risk because they don't know anything. And they don't want to know anything. And they don't want to stop anything. So it's pathetic. But I have another one here. Let's see. One more. Stop sharing that one. And this other one I thought was really good too. It's all about the same stuff. But here we go. I gotta make sure I start it over again. But this is some more about them talking about thinking that people are hiding information that are working for the college. So here we go.
That was a disaster. I mean, they got the guy's height, they got his weight, and they go, you want to update the country on what this guy's ID looks like? And they go, we'll put it on the website. Right. You have millions of people watching the press conference live, and you don't want to tell anybody? You say, oh, I'll put it out on a website? Come on. Is the guy 220? Is he Caucasian? What? They didn't even do it. And then they get the timeline wrong, like Dana said. I couldn't hear a word he said. Everyone's trying to back off. No one knows what's going on. It's 3 days later, after a gunman walked into an Ivy League university building and murdered the vice president of the College Republicans, killed 2 people, injured 11, and walks away. We don't know where he is. We don't know what he is. And doesn't seem to be that concerning to the people that were delivering that press conference. This was a premeditated target attack. The guy was casing the facility beforehand. They have 800 cameras at this university. They didn't have a camera at the entrance to the building so you can see who goes in and out of the building. This is stupid.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's why I wanted to leave it with that one because he's right. It's like, for some reason, something happened to our country where common sense just disappeared. It's like it doesn't exist anymore in many, many people. And they just look around and they're dumbfounded by everything because they can't comprehend what's going on because they have no common sense. And it's really sad. How did we get this bad off? I mean, it's like we got a whole group of people running that are in charge with jobs where they're in charge of other people's jobs, and they have no idea what they're doing. They just stand around waiting for someone else, even a person that works for them, come up and say, oh, aren't we supposed to be doing this? Oh, that's right. We need to start working on that. It's like, I don't know how anything gets done at all. Honestly, maybe this is one of the reasons why Dan Bongino is stepping down, because once he got in there and he saw how bad it was, he saw how up our government is, because we have a bunch of imbeciles in there that don't know their head from a hole in the ground, like my mother would say, right? Every time I see this kind of stuff and I see people like Jesse getting upset, we're giving you an opportunity to put a picture out, to give you information out, to try to get hundreds and thousands of other people that are watching that might know who this person is. Okay. And they can solve this crime, give you some evidence. Yet I think they already know who it is. They just don't want to tell anybody. Maybe it was one of the university's bigwigs' sons that did it. That could be very possible. I mean, but the thing is, I don't know if we're ever going to find out because of the way that they're doing this. And the thing is, when you make that many mistakes and you lose evidence or you don't find evidence or whatever, you don't have it to use in court. You think about that. Everybody says, we want people to go to jail. We want people to go to jail. But when you got crooked lawyers and everybody else is all crooked, they're going to do everything in their power to stop you from getting justice. Because guess what? All of them combined have way more money than you do. They're going to outlast you. And when dragging it through court and through lawyers, you'll run out of money. You're going to lose your house and everything you have to try to defend yourself against a bunch of people like that. You can't compete. You can't compete with the money. And guess what? Most of that money is probably not even theirs. It's probably taxpayers' money. They've gotten away with the NGOs and all the other stuff that Doge found. It's disgusting. All of this is disgusting, and I can't believe I'm still shocked when I find out some of this stuff, because I look around and I know that it's messed up. I know that it's really screwed up. All this stuff is really screwed up, but now it's affecting whether or not we can catch criminals that are openly, blatantly doing it nonchalantly. Like I already know I'm going to go in, I'm going to do this, and this, and I'm going to walk out. And then my money will be in my account, whatever, whoever paid them off to do it or whatever the reason why they did it. It's just like I said, look at all these people. We still haven't found out the truth behind it yet. Last year or the year before, when we were doing stuff on the different shows, the shit shows and stuff, talking about them flying people to different places, whole planes filled with people that snuck over the border and were put in vans, given backpacks and new clothes and phones and a phone card or money cards, and then going to the airport, and they had National Guard at one of them with people while they were getting on these planes. And there was a senator that went there and demanded to go in there, and the National Guard was fighting him not to let him in when he was trying to find out what they were doing, where all these people were going. And they were sending illegals to different states. But somebody paid for all that. Somebody was setting up the planes, fixing all of this stuff to get these people to go to specific places. Why? Well, now I think we're starting to find out why. Certain areas are going to be the target. Places that they know they're not going to get shot before they can do anything, because they got to make a statement. They got to take out as many people as they can. And I'm really scared. I'm really worried that the few administrations had a lot of people's hands in this mess to get some people in here for whatever reason, specifically flying people to different states and stuff, waiting to find out what's going to happen. And I don't know. I really don't know, but just be careful, people. Be careful out there. Pay attention to your surroundings. If you're a woman, look under your car before you walk up to it, because some hand might come out and knock you to the ground, and another person comes and grabs you, shoves you in your own car, and you're never seen again. So there's lots of things you need to make sure you do. If you have a chance to be able to start taking a self-defense classes, you guys too, you should, because you should be able to know how to hit someone real quickly, right in the throat. It just give you seconds enough to be able to get away from them, or jab them in the eye. I carry my car keys, and I carry a key poking out like that in my hand when I'm leaving the store till I get to my vehicle. Not because I need the key to get in my truck, okay? Because I got a button for that. It's to jab somebody in the throat or in the face or wherever you need, in their thigh, and you got the force of your fists behind it. That will help you. There's lots of things like that. There's tons of things that you can learn really quickly by paying attention. Have you ever been gotten in the trunk of your friend's car or whatever, and then them shut the lid so you can find out where the latches are and how to pull the latch so you can open the trunk and get out? Because once they take you from one location to another, you're probably not going to be seen again. I hate to say that, but that's what they teach in some of these things about trafficking and stuff. So know how to get yourself out of the situation, and try not to ever get in the situation. So pay attention to your surroundings. Look around. Don't be on your phone. Don't be doing anything like that. If you're by yourself, you're at the grocery store and you got to walk through the parking lot, or you're leaving a restaurant or whatever, and it's getting dark and you're alone, ask someone to walk you to your vehicle. Different things like that. There's so many things that you can do. Even men, you don't have to do it by yourself. Just because you're a man doesn't mean that you aren't a target. Believe me, everyone's a target. They just want somebody that has money, credit cards, or whatever else. Just like you saw that one video that was out, a young woman, something slasher or whatever, this guy, and how he got his victims. What he would do is he'd get the girl in their apartment and then beat them up a little bit. Then he'd force them in their own vehicles, and he would drive. And then he would make them put the numbers in, the PIN numbers, to get all their money, make them drain every penny out of their account. But what they would do is take out hundreds at one bank, go to another drive-through, take hundreds out there, and hundreds, go to different ones. And each time they did it, you could see the girl's eye getting bigger and bigger and swelling shut because he'd been beating her up. And then they never see her again. And then they find their vehicle burnt up and stuff like that. But he's on camera because he's in that vehicle. So there's no reason to end up that way if you can not end up leaving, without you being the one wanting to leave. So we just got to protect ourselves, because I don't know what's going to happen. It may not be anything. It may just be my paranoia, but none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. This fiasco that's going on right now at Brown University, it's I don't know what's going on, but it's a mess. And it's really, really sad. The whole thing's a mess, and it's sad that we're in this position. And I'm thankful every day that I live in this country, because compared to other countries, at least we have a fighting chance, and I have the right to own a weapon and protect myself. So I don't know. But just keep your eyes open, your ears open. If you see something or you're suspicious of something, if you feel like something could be up, call 911. The worst you can do is to say, we didn't see anything. But what if you find out on the news the next day when you wanted to call and you didn't, and then you find out that girl that we saw, she's missing, Don't let that happen. I'd rather say, I was wrong this time. I'd rather be wrong, but you know what I mean? But thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight, and hope you learned something new that you might not have known about from before. But we're not in the same sweet land that we were when we were all young, and we looked up at our parents with, wide eyes and happiness, and everything was so good because we weren't afraid of anything. We're invincible. But guess what? We aren't. We aren't invincible. And our kids need us to try to leave something better for them. And it's on our laps now. So you guys remember that and try to stay safe out there. Thank you very much. And you guys have a great evening. See you later.
Okay, so I came to Walmart today just to see if this was real. See this? Do you see this big box of like cookie things? These? And it says product of India. Product of India right there. I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready for this.
Puedes ir por las tuyas a tu tienda favorita. Ross, Burlington, Target, Safeway, entre otras.
Okay, so I came to